We'll go ahead and get started then. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Josh Bokee. I'm actually the executive director of Connect for Broadband, which is a nonprofit based here in Maryland, focused on helping to close the digital divide. Welcome to today's webinar, focusing on AI and digital skills building, part of a continuing digital equity learning series, sponsored and hosted by the University of Maryland Extension's Marylanders Online program. If you'd like to learn more about all of the resources that Marylanders Online offers, including tech education and digital navigator support, we'll put the information into the chat shortly. And then Julie from the team, I believe, will join at the end of this webinar to share a little bit more information about how you can access their newsletter and some other upcoming really awesome programming that's coming up. We're very excited, though, about today's topic, AI and digital skills building, and we have two great guest speakers with us. The first, Dr. Megha Subramaniam, who is a professor at the College of Information at the University of Maryland, and Ms. Katherine Lam-Besc is the curriculum manager for Older Adults Technology Services. This session will focus on experience and research into teaching AI awareness in digital literacy programs and how AI connects to workforce development, digital security, and accessibility. So a little bit about our format today. We will hear a brief presentation from both of our speakers, followed then by a fairly informal Q&A session, both either in terms of raising hands or in the chat itself. And this should be a really good and timely discussion considering AI seems to be everywhere we turn these days. Building Maryland's digital workforce through smart investment, inclusive strategy, and cross-sector collaboration is how we will all move forward together. So let's get underway about how AI and digital skills training fit into doing that. A little bit about our first speaker, Dr. Megha Subramaniam is a professor, again, at the College of Information at the University of Maryland. She is a co-lead for the Marylanders Online project, leading the development of digital literacy curriculum for this initiative. Her research focuses on enhancing the role of libraries in fostering the mastery of digital literacies. Her work has resulted in several national and international recognitions, most recently including the Fulbright Scholar Award to Indonesia, Library Journal's 2019 Movers and Shakers Award, YALSA's 2020 Outstanding Achievement Award, and the Fulbright Specialist Award. Dr. Megha, welcome. We're excited to have you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Josh. Good afternoon, perhaps even good morning to some of you. So just give me a second. Let me find my slides and share it. Give me a second. Slideshow. All right. Josh, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my slide?
I can see them. Good to go.
Great. Thank you, everybody. All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And thank you to Josh, Terry, and Julie for managing sort of this background of arranging all these webinars and also inviting me to speak about this really sort of a very early stage of a course that's coming soon to the University of Maryland. It's a course on AI literacy for community empowerment. And this, I just received news that we've been awarded a grant to build this course, which will be offered in fall 2026. So that seems like far away. I am not wrong about the year. It's not fall 2025, it's fall 2026, because this course is going to take some time to build. So this experiential learning and community engaged course is made possible by a small grant offered by the AI Interdisciplinary Institute at the University of Maryland, also known as AIM, that is funding innovations in both research and teaching in AI at the university. So today I'm going to speak a little bit about the context for this course. And then also share with you the preliminary course goals, course outline, course timeline, and deliverables. And then I'm going to put a call for interest to AI literacy providers that I'm pretty sure are here. Some of you have been offering digital literacy courses and maybe aspiring to offer AI literacy programs, services, courses, short training. But some of you may already be doing it. So I would like to pick your brain a little bit, perhaps during the conversation that we will have later after both presenters have presented. And then, of course, we'll have that Q&A and discussion. So a little bit of context, and perhaps if Terry or Julie can share the links that I have on the slides to the entire audience in the chat, because sometimes it's kind of difficult to click on the link when it's on a slide. So a bit of context, as I mentioned, this course is one of the 7 proposals that were funded by the AIM Institute. So AIM stands for AI Interdisciplinary Institute at the University of Maryland. So you can, when the link is shared, you can see that this is one of the 7 courses. There are like fascinating other courses, AI in music, in science fiction, just fascinating. This shows the breadth of courses that the University of Maryland is investing upon, and also AIM, because AIM really leverages AI for good. So therefore, they are really encouraging faculty members to innovate in terms of AI. And so I proposed this course, which I got really lucky, and they funded it. This is the only experiential learning and community engaged course within the 7 courses that were funded. The others fall into what they call as just regular courses. So this one particularly engages the community. So this is the context that I'm talking about today. This is the grant that actually we just received. You can see the date there is on May 5th. So it's been like 2 to 3 weeks. It's a little bit, I'm trying to process all this. I've already got a lot of requests from community members who want to participate. And I keep telling them, wait, this course is not for fall 2025, it's for fall 2026. Bear with me as I develop this course. So this course currently is really envisioned for our seniors, so our undergraduate seniors who are primarily from the following program. The Bachelor of Science in Information Science, which is offered by the College of Information, where I teach. The Bachelor of Arts in Information Technology and Design, also offered in the college that I teach, and also Bachelor of Science in Social Data Science, which is a joint program between the College of Information and the Department of Government and Politics in our Social and Behavioral Science College. And we expect that it will likely attract many of our computer science students at the Department of Computer Science. Just to give a little bit of background in terms of the number of student body that we are thinking about, just seeing the enrollment on Bachelor of Science and Information Science right now, we have over 2,500 students, and CS, you can probably times that with 1.5. So there is a huge student body that we think will likely take this course. Eventually, this will be a required course for a new program that's going to start, which is Bachelor of Arts in Artificial Intelligence. That is still going through the approval process at the university and at the state level. So we presume that eventually this course, I am going to offer it soon. We'll pilot it, and then it will be a required course within the BA in AI. What we also envision is that students who come to this course are students who have AI literacy already. So that is why I'm kind of targeting the seniors, right? So they will already have the AI literacy. And once I share with you the course goals and sort of the course deliverables, it will be obvious to you why they need to come to this course with that AI literacy in hand. So the course goals are as follows. At the end of the course, students will have the necessary skills to describe, apply, and facilitate the learning of AI literacy in community contexts. they be able to use participatory design techniques. And we can have a conversation later what I mean by participatory design techniques. But they will use participatory design techniques to co-design AI literacy learning experiences with and for digital literacy providers and with and for the communities that they serve. They will also adopt a mindset centered around community and public service when working with contemporary AI tools and applications. And this is really the heart of the course, right? Is really to adopt this mindset. We want the students who have this technical background to be able to use that technical background for good, for community and public service. Also following along those same theme, we also hope that the students will appreciate the relationship between scientific advancement in AI and their ethical, social, and cultural impact on communities, which is equally important. And lastly, we are also hoping that they will develop dispositions essential for advancing AI literacy learning, including creativity, open-mindedness, critical thinking, perseverance, collaboration, and so on. Okay, so moving along to just a tentative outline of the course. Again, I do have some time to really tweak this course. And also keep in mind, we are talking about AI. We are talking about AI in May 2025. In May 2026, AI may look different, right? So I am keeping that in mind and not sort of, diving too much into this because I know the landscape of AI is, evolving really rapidly. So the tentative course outline is from week 1 to week 5. So we have about 15 to 16 weeks of semester, depending on which semester you are in. Typically we have 15 weeks. So week 1 to 5, student will develop a foundational understanding of AI literacy. Again, we are hoping they come with this already. So I'll just do a very quick refresh with them. What I want to pay attention to is cultivating the community engagement and public service mindsets. These mindsets really need to be developed. And then develop co-design skills to co-design the learning experiences with digital literacy providers. We do have courses on co-design. Some students may come with that skill already, but if they don't, they can get part of this, a quick review of those skills in this class. And then they will assess and identify specific AI literacy gaps within the communities. So I envision this class working with teams of community members, and I'll explain that a little bit in a moment. But they will work with those teams of community organizations that are thinking about offering AI literacy programs, services, but don't have the time to develop one or don't have the means, the resources to develop one. So the students can actually develop this for you. So they will spend the first 5 weeks figuring out how to do this as well as, and that fifth week should have the assessment of the specific AI literacy gaps that the community organization is trying to fulfill. And then between week 6 and 10, I'm hoping that the students will engage in design sprints in the classroom to create sort of this tailored learning experiences based on the identified community needs and gaps. You will hear me talking about learning experiences, and then you hear me talking about programs, services, in relation to AI. I don't know exactly what each of this community organization would like us to produce, would like the students to produce. It could be service, it could be program, it could be training, it could be one session class, it could be a series of 6 weeks class, it could be just drop-in sort of sessions that they need content for. We don't really know. So I've kind of grouped them as learning experiences based on the identified community needs and gaps. So when I refer to learning experiences, it's all that I mentioned. And then weeks 11 to 15, I'm hoping that students will refine and co-develop these learning experiences in collaboration with digital literacy providers, ensuring that they are effective, accessible, and community-centered. So this is kind of, really very much a hands-on type of work. The course timeline now it's May 2025. But I'm hoping that anyone interested in delivering this AI literacy learning experience anywhere actually in the US. I don't think I want to go international yet. Let's just stick to the US. AI literacy learning experience to their community members. Sometime next year in May, I will put out an interest form. Actually, because you are here, you get to see a preview and even indicate the interest. I'll get that to a minute. Um, but I'll put out a interest form sometime in May 2026. And then between August and December, the class will run. As I mentioned just now, you saw the kind of the outline that I have in terms of the weeks. And then ready to deliver AI literacy learning experiences will be ready, hopefully December 2026. Since you all are here, I would like you to indicate no sort of commitment here, just to indicate if you're interested in proposing projects for students to work on. If you'd like me to be in touch with you in May 2026, of course, the form will be, will be distributed widely. But if you want to make sure you get the form, you can complete this interest form right now. If one of my the Marylanders online team members can put this form, the link to the form in the chat, I would appreciate that. So if you indicate your interest now, I will be in touch May 2026, a year from now, to see if you remain interested and maybe you have very specific projects that you would like students to work on. And I will end with this note. In my lifetime at University of Maryland, I've been a professor here for 16 years. I have offered and developed multiple experiential learning courses where students have developed learning experiences in libraries because that's the place that I always work with. You can see here on the slide, students have developed learning experiences in libraries, prototypes of apps in collaboration with community members. And it's this type of classes are just a joy for me to teach. And I'm not saying this because I work at the University of Maryland, but what I'm about to say is really truly comes from my heart, which is that our students are just a joy to work with. They're really eager to learn. They are, really, they really value this type of relationship, community engaged, experiential learning type of work. So I'm not saying that again because I work at the University of Maryland, but I just wanted to tell you that I think you will find joy, the same joy that I find as well when I work with my students. So I just want to end by acknowledging that my supporters here, including my college, and we have two partners so far that have signed on. The Maryland State Library Agency and Digital Harbor Foundation are all ready to propose projects in May 2026, and I'm quite excited. So thank you so much for listening.
Dr. Mega, thank you so much. This is very exciting. I know I have questions, but I know we're going to hold questions until after the next presentation. So don't go anywhere, and we'll do the next presentation, which segues in really well. Coming next is Ms. Katherine Lam-Besc. She is the curriculum manager for Older Adults Technology Services, or OATS, where she develops content for Senior Planet from AARP programs. Some of her projects have included developing online self-paced learning modules, providing support for trainer and staff development, and managing the Mandarin and Vietnamese translations of Senior Planet curriculum programs. Most recently, she has also been working to expand Senior Planet's repertoire of AI programming, which aims to help older adults understand the basics of AI and navigate its complexities safely. Ms. Katherine has a master's degree in TESOL and speaks 4 languages. And prior to working with OATS, she taught for over a decade in 3 different countries. Her experiences working in diverse settings has informed the way she approaches content development for the various populations that OATS serves. Katherine, welcome. Thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you for having me. Let me see if I can share my slides. Seems like I cannot share them, but I'm happy if Julie is able to share them as well, either or. I do worry a little bit of, oh, I see that I'm the co-host now.
I'm happy to share as well. You just let me know what you'd prefer.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and share? I've just had some trouble with the internet today and I wouldn't want to drop off in the middle. Thank you so much. Sorry to
Okay,
trouble you.
not a problem.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Katherine Lam-Besc, and I'm with the education team at the Older Adult Technology Services. And I'm part of a team of four, and we do all of the program design for our tech courses. Before today, I'll talk to you about our Senior Planet AI curriculum, specifically designed for older adults. I'll go through a little bit of our courses, what we do to design them, as well as key recommendations for implementing such a program, what we've done, some of our challenges and successes, and some testimonials from our participants. And finally, I'll share with you some of the resources that we have created for older adults. Before I begin, on the next slide, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of OATS and Senior Planet. Um, we affiliated, I think, 4 years ago at the end of 2021 with AARP, and we are a social impact organization that empowers older adults to harness technology to improve their lives and communities. And our flagship program is Senior Planet. And through this program, we offer free in-person and online classes to help older adults build digital skills and engage in areas like health, finance, creativity, and social connection. Now, our programs are specifically designed to use older adults' experiences, opinions, and life skills to help them achieve their goals. And our Senior Planet programs provide opportunities for people to transform themselves and their communities. And we know that older adults have goals, and our approach is centered around older adults and the changes they want to make in their lives. And all of our programs start with older adults. We use focus groups and surveys to determine what participants want to get out of our programs, and then we go from there. And we think of technology as a tool to help older adults reach their goals, but it's not the end goal. We're not teaching you what is a cell in an Excel spreadsheet. We're not teaching you, what is large language models. We're teaching how do we use Excel, for example, to to manage your budget, or how do we use an AI chatbot to explain a very new or complex topic, for example. And we're not a technology training organization. We don't like to label ourselves as such for this exact reason. We like to talk about ourselves as a social change organization that seeks to use technology to change the way we age. And with that in mind, when ChatGPT came out in November 2022, we knew that AI was going to be a huge game changer in the tech world, and that older adults should not be left out, especially because the technology behind AI is built very much on the experiences of those who build it. So to leave older adults out of the equation means that they are being excluded from, the data that goes into training AI models. And in our next slide, I'll talk about our AI curriculum. So for our AI curriculum, we have these programs. We have Intro to AI, Intro to Chatting with AI all around, everyday uses of AI and disinformation. Is that AI image generators, AI voice and video generators, and these two new programs that just came out this month, AI and your small business, as well as using the Google Gemini app. And so this is our specific dedicated AI curriculum. And as I mentioned before, when we start our programming, we always ask older adults, what do you want to learn? And so after administering two surveys, we discovered that older adults wanted to learn about the applications of AI. Most of them wanted to learn about everyday uses, creative expression, just more general education. And we combined that with their top concerns, which were disinformation and privacy. And that's how we developed these programs. And just a note about this, this is actually all goes into our Exploring AI program series, which is a 5-week program consisting of 10 sessions. So older adults meet for 2 weeks. I'm sorry, 2 sessions per week. And each session is about 75 minutes. So they get the sustained exposure and a lot of time to practice all the AI skills that we talk about in these programs. And also to mention that we are in the midst of translating a lot of these programs into Spanish. We have, I think, about 5 of these in Mandarin, 3 in Vietnamese, as well as a handful in Haitian Creole. So this is primarily our specific dedicated AI program. Now, on our next slide, we'll talk about our other ways we discuss AI. And while we only have what seems like a short list of courses specifically dedicated to AI, we know that AI is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. And so instead of creating another course on AI and health or AI and social engagement, we decided to use our impact areas, our courses in our impact areas, and talk about AI in tech that already exists. Here you see on the slide 5 impact areas that OATS and Senior Planet develops topics for. We have our health, social engagement, creative expression, financial security, and advocacy or civic engagement. So we develop our courses to with AI in mind now. So for example, for a long time, we had a course on Facebook or WhatsApp. With the addition of Meta's AI, we've started incorporating what you can do with Meta AI in WhatsApp. So we don't have a specific standalone, AI, Meta AI class. We have these topics where AI is also discussed. And that's what we want our older adults to know is that AI isn't just a niche. It's not in a silo. It is really is everywhere. One of the things that we did come up with recently was our AI and your small business, which if you are a small business owner and you're interested in learning about AI tools, we now have a course for that. We also did a course recently, an update to one of our existing courses called Job Searching in the Digital Age. And we discuss how we can use AI chatbots to help us draft resumes. And here's the thing that's the kicker. We do encourage older adults to look at AI chatbots, to use AI chatbots to, draft, and the keyword is draft, a resume or draft a cover letter. And the reason being that these formats are very they're very they ch I'd have to say that resumes have changed over time. Since I've started working, they've changed over time. We might not always be necessarily aware of the changes. And so AI does pull out the most recent updates, and it's also a template. Now, the important part of that is we also tell our participants that whatever AI generates, you cannot just, turn back out to the rest of the world. You have to infuse it and you have to go over it. You have to review it and you have to make sure that it fits what you need. And so that brings me to our key recommendations for when we teach these programs, which is on our next slide. Oops. There we are. So with regard to our key recommendations when teaching AI, the main point is that we're all new to this. This is a dawn of a new era. Even though we've all been, maybe some of us have been using technology and computers for 10, 20 years, AI is also new to us. So older adults, us, younger kids, we're all in this together. This is the dawn of a new era. It's very exciting that we're all here learning and exploring at the same time. But that also means that instructors who are teaching this need extra prep time. And that includes, experimenting with and playing with the AI tools that they plan to demo for their participants. It also changes so quickly. What you've taught, what we know about ChatGPT from November 2022 is completely different than what we are using ChatGPT for today in May 2025. And just the other day, my colleague brought up a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti that was made this time last year. Um, and the changes and advancements in like video generation have just been phenomenal. So we have to check our platforms before we teach, and we have to be prepared for these constant and frequent updates, which is why we also update our AI programming more frequently than, say, for example, Spotify or Instagram, even though Instagram does use AI. Um, with regard to teaching our participants, we keep a moderate pace with plenty of time for repetition and review. We give all our programming has built-in review opportunities, such as overviews, objectives, and summaries. And we always explain new lingo or tech jargon because we don't want to assume that anybody is fluent in digital speak. So there are tons of digital non-natives. We just want to make sure that everybody understands all the terms that come out so quickly. Um, a really important thing is explaining AI with familiar concepts. When we first talk about AI, when we first surveyed older adults about their opinions on AI, a lot of them said that, it seemed very scary that it was all around us all of a sudden. And when we talk about AI, we explain, we have two courses dedicated to how AI has been around for a long time. That's everyday uses of AI and AI all around. And we start by saying, well, AI's been around for a very long time. It's actually not that scary. You've probably used it before. So we highlight things like predictive text or personalized recommendations on Amazon or Netflix. We talk about voice assistants and customer service chatbots just to normalize that AI has been around. And that we say is predictive AI, we let them know about that. And that this new AI is called generative AI, and it does so much more. We use analogies to draw upon their lived experiences to help them understand where AI can be applicable as well. In addition to those explanations, we provide plenty of demonstration and hands-on practice. We do note that we frequently see that when older adults can practice the actual skill in the classroom in a supportive environment, they're more likely to use a device or a platform on their own. And particularly with AI, it's not very effective to just talk about what it can do. It's more helpful and useful for older adults to show what it can do and to have participants try it themselves. So, for example, in our in-person classes, when we talk about intro to chatting with AI, one of the exercises that our instructors use is having one half of the class chat with Gemini and another half of the class chat with oh gosh, ChatGPT, and we compare the answers just to see what chatbots are able to do, their limitations, and how much fun it is. Because at the end of the day, we want them to have fun with it. We want them to know that it's not really very scary. It can be kind of fun. That brings me to my next point. Whenever we teach technology, and especially with AI, we talk about the pros and the cons without fear mongering. You know, we want to present them with the information so that they can decide what they want or don't want to use. Oftentimes they will decide, oh yeah, I do want to use this particular technology, but maybe not this one. Or, you know what, maybe I will use ChatGPT because I want to come up with a recipe with the leftovers in my fridge, but I won't use it to draft my resume because I've got a pretty solid one. So we give them the information so that they retain the agency and the control of what they want to do with it. We're just here to give them the information, the pros and the cons. And finally, we give them practical and relevant examples. We give courses all over the country in either virtually online or in person at several locations and through licensed partners. And those trainers will often customize their examples based on the experiences and the relationships that they have with their older adult participants. Now, that's to say, now these are the key recommendations that we have. And so far, we've seen quite a lot of success, but that hasn't come without challenges. And on the next slide, I'll discuss a couple of challenges and successes that we've faced in implementing this programming. So I always love talking about these challenges because they are so fun and not insurmountable. And the first one that we did that we encountered was when we first started our AI programming, we got, I think it was a phone call from our hotline um, that where somebody was very alarmed that we were teaching AI. And they were alarmed because they were concerned that we were teaching something so dangerous, so unregulated, and so unknown. It's from what they've known and what they've read, AI was something that could create so much misinformation and wreak so much havoc. For them, it was just better for us to leave it alone, and they would rather just not deal with it. And they're not incorrect that AI can be dangerous, but that's exactly why we need to teach it. The potential misuse of AI demands education and awareness, especially when it comes to scams and fraud and just information in general. Older adults need to be aware of what's going on with AI, even if they don't use it themselves. Um, on the other side of the spectrum, we have older adults who do want to know, who do want to use AI, but it's so ubiquitous that they say, well, where do I find AI? Is it an app? Do I download it? So then we say, well, come to this course and we'll show you how you can do, how you can use AI, how you can chat with AI, and where to find it. Um, and that is always like a really great, easy answer for older adults, and they're generally very happy. It does present a lot of frustration though when it doesn't work, and especially because you've been told, wow, AI is revolutionary. It can change everything. It can do so much. So it really is frustrating when it doesn't work. It's also frustrating because of all the frequent changes and updates. So a lot of our coursework is a lot of our courses in programming seeks to normalize these constant change and updates and to help older adults develop a resilience and tolerance to this sort of thing. And finally, just our programming also works a lot at helping older adults understand that AI um, often hallucinates or provides wrong information. A lot of times when you see the AI overview on Google, or if you have Copilot, they do the same thing. They're scraping together lots of different information and summarizing it in a way that might not necessarily make sense. So a lot of our programming goes through great lengths to encourage older adults to seek sources or verify information on their own. A great story that we have on that is a gentleman, I believe he was in northern New York. He used AI to ask if he needed a permit for his trailer. And AI told him he didn't need one based on the size of his trailer. And he told his friends, he said, it's okay. AI said I didn't need to do this. But then he took one of our courses and discovered that AI sometimes gives wrong information and hallucinations. Um, and then he went to verify that information. He asked AI the same question and then asked it to provide sources, upon which he realized that the original answer that the AI had given him, where he didn't need a permit, was based on the information from a state that he was not located in. But in New York State, I believe you did need that permit. So it was a good thing he took our class and was able to learn to verify that information. And so those were some of the challenges, but I find that they've been very helpful in helping us become a much stronger, develop stronger programs. And in that sense, we have a lot of successes too. Teaching older adults about AI fosters a sense of independence because now they're comfortable navigating this new technology without fear. They don't really need to rely on, their children who might be busy or friends or, constantly go to, a Geek Squad member of Best Buy to ask questions. Once they know how to chat with an AI chatbot, they can ask them many things from complex they can ask for complex explanations. They can ask for, drafts of letters to landlords, for example. So they can tackle on new tasks and complex explanations. And the feedback that we've gotten from our programming has been very positive thus far. On the next slide, I can show you a couple of testimonials that we have. Most older adults say that it's been really great. The one that I have bolded right now, it's in the top right-hand corner. It says, everyone needs to know about AI. It is everywhere. It is now. These classes are a perfect way to explore AI as they are provided in a non-threatening environment. Resources are always given to delve further into the topic. The classes I've taken, fly by time-wise, are fun and informative. So this is just a couple of testimonials that we've gotten from older adults. And I think thus far we're very excited to continue our programming. Um, and to end my presentation, I just wanted to share with you on the last slide some of our resources. The first one is, well, both of these are on the webpage seniorplanet.org/AI. And I realize that I am not sharing my screen, but we have on there an AI for older adults guidebook that explains what I really love about that resource is AI as it's used now, what you might see it in the near future and how you might use it in the long-term future. We also have an AI chatbot explainer video that explains the difference between web searching and chatbots. We also have a list of our upcoming courses and a list of articles as well. So that's my presentation. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to take any questions along with Dr. Mega.
Katherine, thank you so much. And Katherine and Dr. Mega, thank you both for really excellent presentations and some incredible work that is happening. I will say I'll just take the liberty for the moment that I'll give a shout out to University of Maryland as well. That is where I did my graduate degree in urban studies and planning. And having that land use background, I often thought about, right, think about things in terms of capacity building from the physical community landscape and community capacity building. But this is capacity building for our community, but through technology. But they're really, in many ways, both the physical and the technology linked together. And I think the more that we're able to connect these sort of two worlds and help our communities understand that, we'll be able to help really right in advance everything that's happening. So with that, I think let's see here. Please you can put your questions in the chat or raise your hands. And Isaiah, I think I see your hand up first. That's the first I saw. So Isaiah, please.
Thank you. Thank you. So Professor Mega, she's my colleague, and I'm her boss too. So that's all. I'm the director of the Maryland's Online Digital Literacy Project. Really good stuff. So my questions are around these AI models and the sorts of liability that arise, right? So we're teaching people to use AI models, and then there are questions around legal liability, that kind of thing. So it might be outside of the scope of the conversation, but that's something that would be really important conversation going forward, right? There are AI models that recommend certain actions. You might be familiar with some cases in Florida. In Italy, some AI models were banned because they recommended certain actions. It might be explicit discussions, the chatbots that. So wanted to ask generally, how do we make sure that when we're teaching people, or how do you incorporate that kind of the risks associated with using these AI models, right? So Professor Mega, maybe that's something you thought about, or Katherine, how do we deal with that? It might be, like I said, outside the scope of the discussion. We're just, helping people use these tools, But my background is in law, so that's how, sometimes I think about what's the liability. Is it civil liability, tort liability, criminal liability, individually, right? For organizations. We can put disclaimers, right? This is not, but that's not the end of it, right? So if you can speak to that, thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. I think in terms of teaching about risks with technology, and especially when we're while working with older adults, I think there's risks that come with all sorts of technology. Getting into a car is a risk, and it's about how much risk tolerance you yourself have. When it comes to older adults, I think they tend to be a little bit more on the cautious side. So from our experience, and I only speak from our experience right now, the concern is kind of just getting them to use it if they want to, and exposing them to the idea that it can be helpful. And in that sense, how do we know what to teach them? How do we know which language models to use? And in general, we stick to the technology that is very widespread. So we don't really teach, very niche AI language models. We, stick with the big three right now, ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini. And those right now seem to be, the least, the most wide, I don't want to say the least risky because we never know. But they are the ones that most people seem to have a tolerance for in terms of risk. So when it comes to risk and liability, I can't speak to the liability of it, but I can say that it's a matter of just presenting how older adults might want to use it and having them be comfortable with their own definition of risk. And, not necessarily saying, oh, I don't want to use it just because everybody says it's dangerous, or I'm going to use it. This is great. Let me not pay attention to the risks, but just bringing that experience of being wary, bringing that experience of being cautious into a new digital frontier. So that's I think the way that we think about it for our older adult participants.
Wonderful. Thank you, Katherine. And I think, Isaiah's, I just have a sort of a brief response to your question. Because I think one of the goals of the course that I am hoping to design is the relationship between AI and it's sort of this ethics part of it, right? So if you see write-ups on AI, there is write-ups that really romanticize AI, and then there's that demonizes our AI, right? But I think what we want to teach our students is to be able to really sort of understand, evaluate, and use AI, right? So there are models that allow you to do that evaluation piece really, really nicely. So I think one of the things that I like about the student body that will be joining my course is that we will have students from who are doing bachelor's in social data science, right? Where they will have training on government and politics and specifically some of the law issues, legal issues that you had mentioned. And I'm hoping that conversation can be brought into the discussion, right? Another thing that makes me a little bit I guess leaning towards the demonizing part of AI is that I do feel that AI is changing rapidly, and I also know that regulations cannot keep up. And I think that that troubles me a lot, right? And I always think about that as I am using AI as I am working with my students to use AI. I mean, are we really keeping up with AI regulations here when we do all this, right? Great question. I don't think we have a concrete answer for that, but I think this is something that we should collectively think.
Thank you both. question, and then we'll go to the question in the chat right after this. What are your thoughts in terms of how AI impacts digital skills training itself and how we think about it? Like in some ways, sort of the traditional digital skills training is, right? You learn the basics of the computer, you learn Microsoft 365 and Excel, right? And but here we have this tool, which is just another tool, but in some ways, right, it's sort of kind of going beyond certain categories of how you think. I just any thoughts in terms of, how AI itself might impact digital skills training work and how we think about it?
Yeah,
Maybe
great
the
question,
questions in
Josh.
there.
And Catherine, if I may, let me answer this question. And then I think, I'm sure you have a lot of perspectives, especially from the older adults piece, right? So, Josh, I see your question kind of twofold, right? One is from everyday, just the public, right? Learning digital literacy skills. Is this part of something that they learn, right? And then secondly, I am in the kind of in the business of with Marylanders Online training digital navigators who will be helping people, right, navigate this type of AI sort of questions that we have. And we can't really, every time we put the dot on something, it changes as we are speaking, right? So that's why I was really impressed with Catherine's presentation because I think to keep up with this AI curriculum and the sort of the digital skills that are associated with AI, it will really, you just have to be on it all the time, right? But to answer your question directly, Josh, I think we just can't separate them, right? AI is now immersed in if you're talking about teaching about or using telehealth, it's immersed in that. If you're talking about using government resources, it's immersed in that, right? So you have to not teach AI separately, but just weave them into every single instruction that you have. When you talk about privacy and security, you do have to talk about AI. I don't think we should have, hey, come for a session on AI, right? So that's part of the thing that I'm thinking about in my course design as well. Secondly, I think if we are training digital navigators, this is something that we at Marylanders Online have been thinking. We have modules that we have developed to train digital navigators. It's called Monet. And Julie can probably provide a link to that training sessions that we are developing. Thank you, Julie. We are also thinking about how we train digital navigators to be able to just sort of jump in with this AI piece, right? So I think it really needs to be infused. It cannot be taught in isolation.
Thank you, Dr. Mega. Catherine, anything you want to add to that? Or we can go to the next question.
Just something really brief. It's exactly like Dr. Mega said, we can't just do one isolated session on AI. It's got to be integrated into everything. That being said, with all the precautions that we do take with our curriculum, I think it can also take a lot of pressure off older adults who are learning digital skills, because instead of having to memorize, all the steps on, perhaps you want to format something in a Word doc, you can now ask ChatGPT or, Copilot or Gemini, how do you do that? Or let's say that you encounter an issue with Excel. Now you can ask a question about that. And so it's a matter of balance. And, of course, you have to have a foundation of some sort with using a computer, but afterwards, you can sort of like build off of that skill. I think it's just another skill that we have to learn.
Great, thank you. We've got time for a question in the chat from Amanda Bergson. Do your classes include a rubric or checklist that people can use to assess the accuracy of what they're seeing? An issue I run into a lot is people's instincts for how to gauge whether AI is telling the truth are often wrong. Any feedback to that?
I wonder if this is a question for Katherine based on her presentation. Is it?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking about my response. I just remember when I used to teach university, so I have like a separate answer, but for older adults, I think it kind of fits the same. You know, we we ask older adults to like when we teach our courses, we tell everybody to look at what they see on the internet with, a dose of skepticism. It's not always what you see is what you get. We ask everyone to like verify their sources, always look for sources. Where did you see this article? Who wrote it? What's their purpose? Do they have, a specific intent? Is this a paid source? Or is this a paid article? Is it run by ads? Is it run by a specific group with special interests? We teach them for images how to look at the metadata. Videos, it's been a little bit trickier because AI video generation has gotten so much better, but we still, it's the same, I think things sort of apply, where we ask them about the source. Is there a sort of um is there like a motive, a purpose? But like an easy way to check for video, it's we're seeing that more and more those weird AI fingers are now normal AI fingers. But to answer your question, we don't have a formal checklist, but we do have, criteria that our participants should be looking for.
Great. Thank you, Katherine. I think we are just about at the 2 o'clock hour. So I think, Julie, we are at time. Is that correct? I think we are.
We are. Thank you all so much for joining us today. This was an amazing session. I'm going to drop in the chat a flyer to the upcoming sessions of our series, but I will follow up with an email with this information, as well as a link to the webinar survey. We really appreciate if you could take the time, tell us how we did, what you'd like to learn about in the future. And we also have the Empowering Health webinar series that we hope to see you at every Friday until June 27th. And I'll drop that in the chat and follow that up with the email.
Well, Dr. Mega, Katherine, thank you so much for joining us today and for your incredible presentations and really thoughtful discussion here. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Marylanders online, Isaiah, Terry, Julie, and the entire team for making not just this possible, but all the great content. Please check everything out that Julie put into the chat. And I think with that, Julie, are we out? We're out.
I'm so short. Like, I think it felt so short that like it was very engaging discussion.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.